Salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be talking about some popular books that I think are totally worth the hype. I have like a little romance hot take where I talk about my thoughts on popular books and kind of how I feel that just because a book is popular and really hyped up doesn't automatically make it overrated. All right, let's go. Hello, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha, and today we are doing another romance hot take video. I don't know why I've been filming so many of these videos. Well, I am in a little bit of a reading slump recently, and I have been filming a lot of different reading vlogs. They're just taking more time, so I don't have like a horde of books to talk to you guys about at the present moment. And I just really love sitting and chatting with you guys. I have felt so blue today. Sad, blue, just emotional, if you will. I don't know why. Well, I do kind of know why, but that's a whole nother story. Sometimes you just can't fake the funk. Something I get a ton on my channel is I'm so positive, you know, I have this bubbly personality, and that's not always the case. You know, filming when I'm in a good mood, I'm filming when I'm having those high moments, but you know, sometimes I do feel sad, and that's okay. So if you're feeling blue or sad or whatever it is, you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. And I really wanted to sit down and film today because it's kind of therapeutic just to sit here and talk to you guys. So today's video is going to be just a little more chatty than normal. So I don't really know where I was going with that. We're having a rough time like I am. I love you. I love you so much, and we'll get through this together. And also thank you so much for watching, you know, my channel, because this is really a therapeutic thing for me, and you guys help me so much emotionally, and I love you guys for that. We're like bookish internet friends, and nothing is more special to me. So, sappy, I know. We're moving forward, moving on. This is gonna be a chatty video is what I was trying to get at. Today I'm going to be talking about some popular books, hyped up books that I think fully 100% deserve the hype. These books are great. They're fabulous. They're wonderful. And they're also like very, very talked about. So I really wanted to start this video off by my thoughts on popular books. My opinion, again, this is like a discussion piece. It's just my personal opinion. It's not the final opinion. And if you guys have a different opinion, leave it down in the comments down below. Or if you agree with me, leave it down in the comments down below. These videos are really meant to be like an open conversation where I can chat with you guys about bookish related things. I do these videos quite often, so if you want to see a playlist where I just talk about my opinions on things in the romance community, I'm gonna leave it down below. You can watch them. Like, in the pandemic, we had like a rise of like romance readers, you know what I mean? Like on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, so many amazing people creating content and recommending books, and so many authors that either wrote books a long time ago, their books are now just becoming popular, or new debut authors, their books are like blowing up, which is amazing for them. I love to see that. A lot of times on, you know, Instagram or TikTok, when I'm talking about a popular book, I'll get those people are like, oh, that book's popular. Oh, everyone talks about that book. So, like, it's popular for a reason. People are talking about it for a reason. And I feel like just because a book is popular, just because a book is hyped up and everyone loves it and everyone's reading it, does not make it overrated. It doesn't. Like, it is popular for a reason. People are liking it for a reason. And I definitely do like to create videos when I'm recommending books where I try to find like undiscovered authors or underrated books or books that nobody's talking about, just so it can be a little bit different from like recommendations you might see on other channels. But like, sometimes I want to read that book that everybody's talking about, and that's okay. It's okay to kind of follow the bandwagon. It's okay to like a popular author. I feel like people hate on things just because they're popular. And you know what? I kind of am like that a little bit sometimes, you know, I'm going to call myself out here. Sometimes when a book is so popular and everyone's talking about it, I'll have like that niggling voice in the back of my head that goes, but is it really that good? Is it really that good? And like, for some reason, it almost makes me nervous to read the book immediately, because I'm like, what if I don't like it? What if I'm like the one person who hates this book and like something is wrong with me because everyone else is loving that book? And it's like dramatic, and it makes me want to push off the book even more because I'm like, oh my god, everyone loves it, and I feel like this pressure. I have this expectation. That's what it is. It's expectation. When I go into something with expectation, I feel like I'm going to be disappointed, versus an author I've never heard of. Like, I have no expectation. I'm gonna here to be surprised. I'm here for the journey, the wild ride. Also, like, when a book is super popular, it's impossible to avoid spoilers, which, you know, that is kind of annoying. spoilers. But anyways, I was like going with that. Oh, and then because I create content on here, of course, like I want to read, again, different things. And if I'm talking about the same book that everyone else has done a video on, I feel like I'm not creating content that people are want to see, and it's just like spiraling in my head. But it's really not necessary. If you want to read the book, read the damn book. That's how I feel. And just because everyone's talking about it does not make it overrated. And, you know, okay, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say this in a very nice way. I say this with so much respect. I don't necessarily think it makes you the cool kid to trash on books. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I feel like people are overly negative just kind of for views, because those videos do get a lot of attention. They really do. Like, even me with my romance hot take videos, sometimes these videos get a little bit more views because I'm, you know, having conversations or discourse about something that's going on in the romance community or about a book. Those videos just get a lot of attention, and you know, people use like clickbaity titles and things like that, and I'm like, it doesn't make you cooler just because you didn't like the book that everyone's liking. Like, this isn't like, nobody's getting awards for the books that they're reading. This is a hobby. This is a, you know what I mean, like, we're all reading for fun. So just read what you like, and if someone doesn't like what you like, that's fine. Romance is an opinion-based thing. That's what I feel like a lot of people forget, is like, one person's review is not the end-all be-all. I could rate something 5 stars, another person could rate something 1 star. Does not mean that the actual quality of the book is trash because someone gave it 1 star, because it could really mean a lot to someone else. You know what I mean? Like, it is a subjective thing. It has a different opinion. So just because you didn't like a book doesn't automatically make it overrated. So if you read a popular book and you're like, oh, it wasn't for me, it just wasn't for you. You don't need to trash like other people's journey and opinion of loving that book. You know what? You feel me? Do you feel me? And I feel like that goes with all forms of media, whether it's a movie or it's a certain style in clothing or an art piece or music. Just because you don't like it doesn't automatically make it overrated and bad and trash, and everyone who likes it has poor taste. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's just my little romance hot take video. I actually wanted to film a totally different video today. I was gonna film like a TBR video, but this was like the topic that was like boggling around in my mind, so I was like, let's go for it. All right, let's talk about some books that I think are talked about a lot. They're very popular, but I think they're great and they totally deserve all the hype that they get. Number 1, this one is a book that is on TikTok that everyone has been raving about, and it's a recent book that's come out. This author has written this series, and it is called Praise by Sarah Kate. This book is everywhere. Everyone and their mama has read it. Everyone and their mama, and for good damn reason, because it is steamy, it is beautiful, it is great. So this is a ex-boyfriend's dad romance. Something's trash for her. Okay, they're not vibing together, so they break up, and she is trying to get their security deposit back because, well, she's broke. She needs money. So he doesn't want to get the security deposit back for them because their dad helped him with it, and the check is payable to him. So they need to go to him to ask for money, and, you know, her ex-boyfriend and his dad, they got beef, they're not getting along, family drama, yada, yada, yada. So she's like, you know, I need my money. So she goes to the dad's office. He's this wealthy older gentleman who, owns a BDSM club. We love to hear it. We love to see it. And we love the steaminess of it. And she goes to get the money, ends up being his secretary, but also his submissive, and they kind of form a relationship, which is very taboo because that is her ex-boyfriend's dad. He is dating his son's ex-girlfriend. It's very taboo, but it's so good. The connection our characters had was amazing. The consent in this book and the praise kink and the steaminess and the BDSM and the kink and all of it is so good. It's good. I love it. I think it deserves all of the hype. All of it. Next book that I think deserves the hype is Birthday Girl. I know, Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. Another taboo ex-boyfriend's dad trope. But again, this book, y'all can't lie to me, okay? Don't lie to me. Penelope Douglas knows how to write a book. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. Whether you like the trope or, you know, the taboo element, she writes books that are just absolutely, like, stuck in your brain for days and months and years. Like, you will not stop thinking about the books. They're emotionally investing. The romances are just like sweepingly romantic. She writes a really good, interesting, thought-provoking book, okay? So this book is an ex-boyfriend's dad romance as well. Our heroine, and it's also an age gap obviously. So our heroine lives with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's dad at the house. He's trash. We don't like him. And he actually ends up leaving, but she has nowhere to go. So she stays in the house of her ex-boyfriend's dad, and they end up forming a romance. And Pike in this book has my whole heart and soul. The thing with this book is if you don't like that trope, that's one thing, but you have to admit, Penelope Douglas, the way she writes her romance, it is so sweepingly romantic. It's so emotional. It's so, like, you're invested. Like, she writes the type of books where you sit down and you will not get back up until you finish the book. Like, it is a one-day type of read. You know what I mean? You're so sucked in, and it's addicting. It's addicting. Penelope Douglas knows what she's doing, and I definitely think that her books are worth the hype. Although, I've only read like 3 of them. I haven't read all of them. But the ones that I have read, I'm still thinking about. They're still in my brain. Which is saying a lot because I have the worst damn memory ever. So Penelope Douglas, absolutely worth the hype. Love her. The book that I think is absolutely worth the hype, and a lot of people probably might disagree with me on this, and that is Beach Read by Emily Henry. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. This book, I definitely think is worth the hype. Okay, so let me tell you the premise. So this is an enemies to lovers romance book. Some would argue that this is a little more leaning towards women's fiction because it does follow our heroine's emotional journey and her journey with her career and her family a lot. But I still consider it a romance. So this one is an enemies to lovers romance. Our heroine ends up moving into a beach house. I saw someone talk about this the other day. I think it was Avery, where she's like, it's not even a beach, it's a lake house, but I digress. She moves into this house after her dad passes away, and she is really supposed to be grieving her dad, and she also wants to finish the book that she's writing. So she goes there to help her writer's block and to finish her book. Next door is another author who happens to be someone that she went to college with, and it was kind of like her rival. Like, they were always competing with each other in class, and they're a little bit of enemies to lovers vibe. Very, very slight enemies to lovers vibe, in my opinion. He writes more general fiction literature, and she writes romance. Help each other get through their writer's block, but they also decide to make a challenge where they have to try out each other's genre. So she's going to write something more general fiction, and he's going to write something romance, and they're going to see who sells better. And yeah, so it follows their romance, but again, this is a very emotional book. I think by the cover is probably why a lot of people find this book a little misleading, because it's a cutesy cartoon cover that draws people in, and you're like, oh, this is going to be a cute beach read. It's very emotional, okay? It deals with loss of a loved one. Our hero is writing about a cult in this book. That is the premise of the story. I really over-described that one. Here's why I personally think that this book is so worth the hype. I feel like this book did really interesting things for the romance community, and let me explain why. I feel like it created this cute little bridge between non-romance readers and romance readers, where it's like, hey, come on over, the water's fine, we'll treat you fine, we'll treat you to a good time. You know what I mean? Like, it drew in so many people who do not read romance. They normally read YA or women's fiction or general fiction, and they picked up this book, and it was like their gateway to romance, if that makes sense. They discovered more authors. Emily Henry has written more books since then that a lot of people have loved, but I feel like this one, I wouldn't dare say revolutionary, but it did a lot of things for the romance community. And if someone were to ask me like, hey, I'm new to romance, I'm kind of intimidated by the genre because there's so many to choose from, I typically read YA or general fiction or nonfiction, like, what do you think I should read? I'm gonna go with this one. This is a safe recommendation that, again, I feel like kind of gives people that bridge to start becoming romance readers, because it's very similar to women's fiction because it follows our heroine's emotional journey. And it is a very emotionally well-written book that draws you in and has you invested into the character story. But it also ends into like an optimistic ending. It does follow our character's romance, which is essentially what we want for it to be a romance book. And I just think it's a good book for a vast majority of people. I do think it's worth the hype. I like it. I gave this book 5 stars because I liked it. Is it the most romancy book? That's not even a word. No, it can lead a little bit more women's fiction, but I feel like it has its purpose, it has its time, and it's so good for people who are just getting introduced to the genre. A little taste tester, if you will. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's worth the hype. That I think are really worth the hype, and I continuously recommend them is Christina Lauren. Again, Christina Lauren is kind of like Emily Henry, where it's a nice introduction to romance. They're contemporary, fun, cute romances that a lot of people just tend to enjoy, and it kind of introduces you to in the genre. I will say that their older books are typically what I liked the most because they're a little bit more steamy. Just my type of vibe, especially when it comes to contemporary romances. I feel like right now they are leaning into a little bit more of a women's fiction path, but definitely still romance, which again serves a different portion of people. I'm over explaining this again. If someone were to come to me and be like, hey, I really want to get into romance, what book should I read? I would totally recommend The Honeymooners or by Christina Lauren, or Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren, which is one of my favorite friends to lovers romances. It's a good introduction to the genre. I think the authors are very good at what they do. The covers are enticing. Yeah, Christina Lauren, worth the hype. Sophie Lark is another author that I think is 100% worth the hype. You guys know this. I love her. I literally got a tattoo, you can't see it because I'm wearing long sleeve, just for one of her books because I loved it so much. Predominantly writes mafia romances, and I definitely think she's one of the more popular mafia romance authors, and I think that her books 110% are worth the hype because the way she writes her romances, mi corazón, like it just is so sweepingly romantic. It is steamy. The plot is so interesting, and she is a genius in her world building because all of her characters connect in one way or another. All of her series just seamlessly glide into the next, and by the time you get to the end result and you read like all of her books and all of her backlists, you're like amazed that she had this plan the whole time and the world she created. And what I think I love about her books, and I think makes her so worth the hype, is her women empowerment in her books and how she embraces women's strength and sexuality. And oh my god, I just love this so much. And like, you get an alpha possessive hero, but also like strong heroines in their own right, and like Sophie Lark is totally worth the hype. Another author that I think is worth the hype is Lisa Kleypas. Lisa Kleypas is probably one of the most popular historical romance authors. A lot of people, when they're getting into the genre, they're probably reading a Lisa Kleypas. You'll probably see one of these books in your Walmart or your Target. She's very popular for the historical romance genre in particular, and I think all her books are great. Pick any of them. Pick any series. They're all fantastic. Her writing style is amazing. A lot of her series also do connect, and I just love them. I personally contribute to the hype of Lisa Kleypas by constantly talking about, again, The Magic, because it's only my favorite book ever, and if you haven't read it, this is your sign to read it. It's a second chance romance. It's a prequel to the Wallflower series. It's perfect. It's wonderful. It's divine. The best book ever written. So obviously, I think that Lisa Kleypas is worth the hype. Alright, those were just a handful of books and authors that I think are worth the hype and I think are wonderful, and also my thoughts on popular books in general. There are a lot of popular authors I haven't read from that I hope to read very soon, so if I miss some authors that you think belonged on this list, it's probably because I haven't read from them. So anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Alright, bye!